What's up, everyone on the internet? Thank you for making this video part. I'm so excited to upload one for you guys because for this talk around the block, today we're just going to talk about books. So basically I did an anime review on Senso of Bookworm where that anime is basically just about the joy of reading books. And so for this video, I honestly just felt about talking about some of the books that I've read in these past few years. So let's get started. Okay, so for me, my favorite genre books will always be sci-fi and fantasy. I remember in middle school, I actually started liking reading like these kind of books when I started like reading like the Halo novels. As I got into high school, I started to read a few more of those books, but then I kind of diverted from that, and because like the kind of terminology used in those books, it's pretty hard to understand sometimes. Like you really need to be paying attention when you're reading those Halo books, because a lot of the terminology, especially when they're talking about the Forerunner stuff, man, you get lost like with like some of the words that they use. And so probably in the middle of like high school, I honestly got into the Walking Dead novels. Remember when the show was popular? And so one of the books I really liked from those Walking Dead novels was actually called The Rise of the Governor, which was released during like season 3 of The Walking Dead, back when The Walking Dead was like, I think, near its like peak of its height of fandom. And so I remember like reading that novel, and I remember the twist at the end. I was like, oh crap, this is pretty damn good. And so after I read that book, I started getting to more and more like Walking Dead novels. And then as time went on, I kind of like stopped all of a sudden. It was just like, okay, I've read enough zombie books. I even read like World War Z, and even I think Max Brooks, what's that called, like Zombie Survival Guide book, which is basically just a comedy book, but it really is like shows you like, okay, what to do during the zombie apocalypse. And then slowly but surely, I slowly got into like the Star Wars novels. This was like back when I think the Force Awakens was coming out, and I was getting so excited. So I started reading as much as like the new novels that were coming out as possible. And ever since then, I've only just been reading some of the Star Wars books, because for me, man, I love Star Wars, man. I can't get enough of it. And so reading the novels, like I think Lords of the Sith, or some of the Clone Wars ones, but I think it was called, I think Shadows, I can't remember what it was called, but it was based on unfinished scripts that were used for the Clone Wars. And so I remember reading those books, and I was like, okay, this is pretty damn cool. And now that I hear that there's news about they're gonna do like a High Republic series, which is talking about like maybe 300 or 400 years before the events of the Phantom Menace, I'm really excited to see what they're gonna do for those kind of books, because I've always been interested about those Old Republic era, like seeing the Jedi at their peak. And so what gets me really excited about those upcoming books is that they're gonna talk about how like the Jedi were basically these lone rangers like in this crazy galaxy. And I love it. It just reminds me of kind of like some of like Lord of the Rings stuff, where you see like the Rangers, they were just on their own adventures and they were just handling their own thing. And so seeing that like, but put into like a Jedi perspective, man, that's gonna be cool. Now, out of all the books that I've read in these past few years, there are only 2 that I reread every single year. One of them is like the Ahsoka novel, which is basically, it shows you what happens after the events of the Clone Wars, and you see where this character was at during like that time, like where the Empire was rising. And I was also very fortunate enough to get it signed by E.K. Johnson, who was the writer of the book, and Ashley Eckstein, the voice of Ahsoka Tano. So meeting those 2, oh my god, it was like a dream come true. But aside from that, the best Star Wars book that I think everyone should read if they're a Star Wars fan is Lost Stars by Claudia Gray. So the book takes place a few years before the events of A New Hope, and it actually starts on a backwater planet where we see these 2 kids who are so thrilled to be Imperial pilots that like throughout the years they grow up together, and then they join the Imperial Academy where they become TIE fighter pilots. But as the book goes on, we see them go through all 3 of the original movies, and I thought that was so cool, because in the book you see those 2 characters live out like some of the events that occurred in the movies, like when they see the Death Star blow up Alderaan, and that just really screws up one of the characters up to the point where he's like, okay, you know what, I am done with the Empire. But around midway in the book, we see him join up with the Rebel Alliance, and we see him take place in the Battle of Hoth, which is so freaking cool. However, his girlfriend is still with the Empire, and so from then on we see those 2 characters basically go at each other throughout the entire book. While one of them strongly believes in the rebellion, the other one strongly believes with the Empire, and it's just crazy seeing how their ideologies clash with one another. And yeah, eventually they do go at odds with one another during a dogfight, and it's so freaking crazy. So yeah, if you're a Star Wars fan, you're really gonna love Lost Stars. It's so freaking good. The way that they go through all 3 of the original movies, and you see how like each character was involved in some parts of the movie, it's so freaking cool, because every time I watch the original trilogy, I go, oh yeah, she was there. That's right, she's right in this scene. I remember, oh yep, she did that. Oh yeah, there he is right there. Well, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. That was just a quick run through of several books that I've read in these past few years. If you like what you saw, click the subscribe button so you can always updates from this channel. If you have any questions or topics you want me to talk about in the next Talk Around the Block, feel free to leave in the comments down below. Stay safe, stay healthy. I will see you all next time with a brand new video. Bye bye.